Hey, so I just talked about the Expanse season one and book one, and now I want to talk about the sixth book of the series and why I did not like it. It is very, very different than books one through five, and here is why. You start off with this very cool but very interesting act that you don't really understand what it's about. It's about the raid on Mars, this Mars facility, and these people, which you don't know who they are, which I don't really like, are stealing stealth paint, basically. And later in the book, they basically paint a meteor with this stealth paint and throw it at Mars and cause a cataclysm. Okay, but that is, you see one bit and then later on you see the effect and you're like, oh, I don't really see why they connect. And then later you find out the person that did the raid was Naomi's son, which is kind of like, oh wow, because again, Naomi's backstory since the first book has been very jaded and hidden. And in book six, it's her book. Book six is Naomi's book, which I liked, but then they broke the formula of the entire series, which was you have this build-up of things are happening, and then you have the major event, and then you have the conclusion, and then the resolution. This had kind of like a space battle for its conclusion, and then the resolution was like, stuff's going to happen. Back to protomolecule. So basically, Naomi's husband or lover is this insane pirate guy, loosely associated with the movement that is about freedom for the Outer Belt, the OPA, and so it's very political. That's probably one of the reasons why I dislike this book the most, is because it is so political about in its ideology, in its execution as well, that is very hard to get through it. It's a lot more talking, it's a lot less action, it's a lot more of, oh, do you agree with this political point of view about freedom, or do you see this about the better good? And you really also don't get any kind of resolution at the end. The resolution is like, we're going to do things differently. The resolution is that now all these belters, as they call them, are now going to be this like spacefaring guild, which is like really, really reminiscent of Doom. So they're like the traffic controllers, they're the workers of space. So they're basically creating, they're not only acknowledging, but now creating that belters are going to be like a different part of humanity that will live in gravity wells. Which again is very ideological. You know, certain belters they've already talked about they can't go into gravity wells onto planets. This was seen the very beginning of the first season where the guy's in the tank and he's being tortured. So yeah, book six, you have a lot of backstory. You have a lot of Naomi's struggle, which is cool. You have a lot of ship-to-ship battles, which I think is done correctly, and it's not as interesting as maybe on the big screen than it is in the book. I've read lots of X-Wings books that do space battles very well, and I feel they are also true to life. The things don't happen, very quickly, but repercussions are very quick. This was the longest book. It took me over a month to read book six. I destroy book five. I love book five where they're on the planet and the planet is fighting back. That's a really cool, it's a very good ramp up of book five where they're landing on the planet, they get to the planet and they're doing all this research and they're figuring these things out. And when the new people arrive on the planet, you have the bomb that goes off. It has this really nice build. Book six, the build is just different. I feel like parts were kind of moved around. It felt more noir in a fashion, and then it felt more preachy political. It just felt like it was trying to be two different or three different books at the same time. You have a lot of destruction in the book, which maybe is the big thing. You have like a reordering of the solar system. You have a reopening of the gates. All these things happen, and at the end of the book, you're like, okay, cool. But now this just really brings me to book 7. And I really feel like book 6 is an in-between book. It's like a prequel. And I think book 7 hopefully will get back on track. Hopefully it will start to deal with more of the larger ideas that are talked about in book 1 through 5 about the people that created all the gates, about the people that attacked the darkness or whatever, that destroy the creators of the gates. And we're going to get there, hopefully. I was hoping we were going to get there with book 6, but book 6 is all in the solar system. You bring back a lot of the old characters, the Marines. You have one really cool scene where the pilot from Mars and the Martian Marine are speeding away in this little ship, which is all the way reminiscent back to book 1. This Julia Mars racing, like pod racer kind of thing, little ship, Pinnacle. That's a really cool part of the book. I just felt like the book wasn't going anywhere. I felt like if the new Navy won or lost, it didn't really matter. That if the Belters became the new empire or the newest doctrine, I mean, it wasn't going to go, but it didn't really matter because what the Expanse is about is moving out into space, is moving forward. And this book brought everything back into Soul, brought everything back and kind of like pushed or regressed humanity back. And that definitely happens. I'm not taking that away from the realism of the crushing the Belters, and the Belters are like slaves, and they take their water and their food away and jack up the prices and all this consumerism of life, which is important, which is realistic, and which is good. But at the same time, I wanted more of a forward momentum of moving out into the other planets, of more exploration, like you see in almost all the other books. And in this one, you just don't have it. In this book, the main protagonist and antagonist are all in Soul. They're racing around. They're trying to figure things out. You have this, crazy Napoleonic figure, or you could say a crazy terrorist, again, asking like, what is a terrorist? What is a freedom fighter? All these good questions just posed in space. But at the same time, I feel that a lot of people are going to be let down, or probably most people have already read this book, have been let down with the lack of progression of the book series. Because I feel like we're right back where we were in 5, at the end of 5. There's a lot more people that are dead. Their Earth has been destroyed, and again, hopefully that will be a progression moving forward to expand out into these other planets, because now there's an impetus for that. And maybe that's the whole point. Maybe they had to kill Earth to get other people out, but so many people died. And now they have basically just, Mars is now going to be like a relic, and everyone's just going to keep on moving out, which is good, which is, the Expanse. So, on a whole, I just did not enjoy 6. The progression was slow. I didn't care. I knew the antagonist was going to die. If I was hoping, Naomi would kill him, but whatever. You have, again, the space battles going on, which some are good, bringing about the idea of, everyone on the ship isn't a bad person, only the person leading them is bad, so, who do you kill? You also have some really interesting retrospectives about the Mongols, and about how they are going to be like the Mongols. The OPA are going to be like the Mongols. They're just going to be, elusive, and you couldn't find them. But it's really kind of broken because the Mongols could survive off their horses, and the OPA can't survive off their ships. So that's kind of broken. Maybe to show like how he wasn't very educated or didn't really understand what he was talking about. Maybe that was part of the thing. One really cool part about Book 6 that hasn't ever been talked about before is they have this pirate queen. Cool. Not all pirating is done, at least the pirating that's seen. But they have these makeshift space stations that I was waiting for. I thought that should be a thing. And so they have these makeshift space stations full of these like caches of loot, and they go there to resupply. And just that little scene, because the rest of the space stations are these giant monstrosities, if you will, or they're asteroid-based space stations, but these are like container sheds, like welded together. I feel that these would be more prevalent. Again, in the Expanse, you're kind of like at the creme de la creme. Most of the characters are highly educated. You know, they're working in a good environment with supplies sponsored by whoever. But you get to see that little bit, like this is how like real people might live, or this is how people that are not so well off might have to live in space, which is cool. So I'm looking forward to book 7. I really was not thrilled with book 6. I know this isn't like my normal review kind of thing. I did read the book quite some time ago, maybe 2 months ago, and I was just so I didn't even want to talk about it. Anyway, I give it a 3 out of 5 if I had to put some stars on it. Good. Just made me want to read more. Kind of like book 4, Game of Thrones, where just, not that much happened. Just a lot of, staying in one place. So, now that we know Nami's backstory, now we know Amos's backstory, which is also presented in book 6, which was interesting. That was probably, again, character development is not always what the Expanse does, and they decided to do it in book 6, which seems late, but fine. Maybe you care more because you have Amos going back to Earth. You have the Martian pilot going back to Mars, like talking with his wife or his ex-wife and figuring out all that stuff. You already pretty much have the pilot's backstory. I'm sorry, I don't remember these people's names anymore. And then you have Nami's backstory, which is front and center. So if you don't read book 6, I think you'll be okay. I think that you can get it with whatever happens in book 7 with contextual clues. So 1 through 5, very good. Should read. Book 6, maybe just wait till book 7. Save yourself 800 pages. Anyway, have a great day wherever you are. Today is March 25th, 2017. Have a great day, guys.